Mayor and Council, it's my pleasure tonight to present to you for your consideration a proposed budget for the City of Longview for fiscal year 2017-2018. As we go forward from tonight, there will be plenty of opportunities for discussion and public input. The staff will be more than happy to answer any questions you might have to help you make informed decisions. The story of the proposed budget tonight really begins 2 years ago, when in fiscal year 2015 and 2016, the City of Longview experienced significant reductions in our sales tax revenues, as well as other operating revenues. In response, we trimmed approximately $4 million in expenses from the budget. Those mid-year budget cuts, together with better than expected revenues, produced a very healthy general fund surplus. The large amount of savings, coupled with our conservative fiscal year 2016-2017 spending plan, will result this year in an estimated year-end general fund surplus of $12,958,740, or roughly 20%, 19.98% fund balance. The amount of savings the city has accumulated is really a testament to the management skills of our directors, managers, and supervisors. Despite sharp declines in operating revenue and reduced budgets, the employees of the City of Longview have worked extremely hard to provide the level of services our citizens expect. So the message of tonight's budget presentation is that the City of Longview is weathering the storm of a still recovering economy. But we remain financially strong. As such, I'm proposing a budget tonight that replaces some of the previous spending cuts, provides for an employee pay increase, and implements a new pay plan for our fire department employees that mirrors the 2015 police department pay plan that was adopted. The proposed budget continues our implementation of priorities in the Longview Comprehensive Plan. The proposed 2017-2018 budget does not contain a tax rate increase. It does not increase rates for water and wastewater, and does not increase sanitation rates. This proposal does, however, include a modest use of surplus reserves to accomplish our desired goals. However, I believe we have sufficient funds available for savings, or from savings from previous years. The end result is a budget that provides the citizens of Longview the level of services and public safety that are expected. I want to take this opportunity to thank our directors, our department managers, and staff for their work during this budget process. I also want to recognize my budget team, and I'd like them to stand up when I call their name. These ladies and gentlemen have really helped me tremendously over the last several years that we've been assembled, and they need special recognition. First of all, our Assistant City Manager, Keith Bonds. Keith, stand up. Angela Cohen, our Director of Finance. Mary Ann Miller, our Director of Administration. Sean Hara, and he's got too many titles, I can't tell them all in one sentence. And then our budget manager, Angela Walker. Angela, would you stand? I want to thank them. I really appreciate all their effort, as well as all the directors and department heads. Before we get into the meat of the budget, I want to talk a little bit about the comprehensive plan and what we've been able to accomplish over the last couple of years. The comprehensive plan was adopted in March of 2015, and we made a commitment as a staff and the city council and mayor to not let that document sit on the shelf and just get dusty. We wanted to accomplish what we could accomplish and to continue that effort each and every year. And I'm really proud of what we've been able to do so far, the things that we've done and those that we have in progress, and then we have some things in the future that we might talk about also. The comprehensive plan, you'll remember, came about and had about 27, I believe, different elements or priorities to the comprehensive plan that the citizens of this community wanted us to address as we go forward. And These are not in any sequential order. They're just the numbers beside them is where they fell as a priority in the comprehensive plan document. The first one I think we can check off is preparing a downtown master plan. Council approved, and with the help of Longview Economic Development Corporation, approved the downtown master small area plans. And as you know, we have just completed that process, and a presentation was made recently to the City Council about that. And we'll have recommendations out of that document as we go forward for downtown. Number two, expand the trail system. And with the graciousness of the LEADCO organization funding the trail system and the Aiken Trail System and our Guthrie Trail System, we're also in progress with an application to TxDOT for a trail grant that we feel very favorable about, and have had some good communications about that. And I'm sure the mayor might have a comment or two later about that effort. So when we get through this, we'll have 10 miles of continuous trail for our citizens. Of course, the trail system, as you can tell, was the number 2 priority item set by the citizens on this comprehensive plan. Number 3, to demolish dilapidated buildings. Last year, in last year's budget, we increased our demolition budget, which is still very small on the scale of what we need to do, but we are committed to doing what we can as the budget allows to address the dilapidated buildings in our community. Special area plans for key corridors, number 6. This includes the I-20 small area plan as well as the downtown, but specifically the I-20 plan. That was presented as well by Fries and Nichols. We're going to be coming to you shortly in the next few council meetings about the establishment of a TERS zone for I-20 area to try to capture some of the upswing and development that we hope will occur down there, but that will be for a future time. Police fire facility study. This is a study, as you know, we are completely out of space in our police department administration, and we are currently leasing space behind the police department for our detectives, and it's just way past time to address those conditions. And our police building has served us well, but it was built in the 1970s, and it is very lacking in modern day policing and things, and we really need to address that. That'll have to be addressed in a future bond election, more than likely, or other ways. And this study, we want to, and we have money we're going to ask you for, to hire a firm to help us do a space and need study. Our police department, it would be easy to add a wing on, but we really don't know what we need, and so we think it'd be prudent to get that study done, and then we'll be ready when it's time to go to the citizens to ask them to support a bond issue. We'll know what we need to ask for, and so we're excited about that possibility. Design guidelines, the Unified Development Code, the UDC, and we have executed a contract with Fries and Nichols. They are helping us now develop the Unified Development Code. There are several things within the comprehensive plan that make that up, so we're excited to get that project underway. Increase our park budget. We have done that. We've made several moves over the last couple of years to increase our parks budget and their funding. And Mr. Karen has a park replacement plan where he's going around strategically, and we have in the budget, you'll be seeing tonight, some money for park replacements out in Teague Park. And then the rest of these, we do not have any check marks by them, and that's due to the fact that these are the type of items in the comprehensive plan that are going to require a lot of funding. They're large capital projects that would require, in my opinion, a bond initiative to take to the voters to see their wishes on that. We have fire stations we need to build. We're out of space and aging, and we need to address that. The police fire facility, we envision possibly a public safety administration area where fire and police are together at administrative wing, and some of that will come out of the study, and we'll get some recommendations for that. Implementation of road diets. These are things that are large public works street projects that need to be done. City Hall expansion. We're spread all over town, as you know, and out of space here, and so those things and other things, as you can read. So as we go forward, I would urge the mayor and council to begin to develop a plan as when the right time would be to go to the voters and ask them for a bond initiative, and that will be in the future sometime. But I think we're going to try to be ready from a staff side when you're ready, so we'll know what to ask for. Then I want to take a quick look at our 2011 street bond project. In 2011, the council issued and the voters approved a $52 million bond package to address our streets in the city of Longview, some of them, as much as $52 million would buy us. And these were prioritized. And I just want to tell you that we have completed all of those projects, and we'll complete, well, the final two, which is Center Street project and then the Cotton Street project. Those will anticipate to finish in spring of 2018. And I want to just give the council and the public to know, I think this is a real neat story to tell about the city staff, our Public Works Department, Roland McPhee and his people under the leadership of Keith Bonds, to be able to design and build and plan and construct $52 million worth of projects on time. And Roland assures me that on the spring of 2018, we will have spent less than $52 million. So I think that's a real, local government sometimes gets accused of not being able to be on time or on budget or things like that. And I know that city government works slow a lot of times. But we have real professionals here, and I think you all should be real proud of the job and the taxpayers that spent the taxpayers' money, the $52 million, to get these done. So I'm real proud about that, and we completed them. Just a couple of pictures. Here's our Center Street reconstruction, and then Cotton Street. And here's the High Street Underpass. And do you like the brickwork on that? I drive that every day, and it is amazing. I'd be offline in one course on that. But those fellas that worked on that, I don't know how they do it. It's amazing, but I think it's a great look. And this is part of the bond package, but the dip is no more. And that's through a grant that Judge Stout helped us to get, and the net RMA and our city funds. Roland and his people got that fixed, and it's really nice. Have you driven up there, anybody? Mm-hmm. Okay. And you have a tailpipe left, so that's good. All right, tonight's budget, just a few assumptions. Overall, we have a very strong financial position, and I think that's the message that I want to leave you tonight. Our sales tax, we're not back all the way. I believe it's stabilizing, and we're going to be projecting just a very slight increase in this next budget. Nothing to write home about particularly, but just I think hopefully we're turning the corner maybe a little bit. This budget contains a modest growth in our property values. We came in, and of course part of our values in Harrison County, the majority in Gregg County, and a net increase in our property values of just under 1% at about 0.82%. So just not much growth, not much movement, but we're thankful that it's positive. Yeah. No property tax rate increase, no water rate increase for sanitation or water and sewer. Also, we are proposing a 3% across the board pay increase for our employees beginning April of 2018. This is what we would classify as a mid-year pay increase. Several reasons for this, budgetary primarily, and financially. It breaks the increase to the budget by pay raises, breaks it up over 2 budget years, which helps us manage our cash flow a little bit better. We also have a proposal in here to implement a fire department pay plan as well in April of 2018. As you all know, under Mayor Mack's leadership and the rest of the council, we implemented the police pay plan in 2015, and it really mirrors the pay of the Tyler market, Tyler police pay, and we've done the same thing this year in the proposal that we would like to bring forth to get the fire department up to speed as well. And it would be equivalent to what the police department received there in April or in 2015. Another thing, we want to implement a 1% fire pension contribution increase. As you know, the firefighters are under a different pension system than the regular the other employees. They have their own pension fund. The city is responsible for that. And several years ago, we started really a partnership with the fire department employees to make some corrections so that fund would be viable long-term for everybody to use. To do that, the city needed to make some contributions, and the fire department made some concessions as well on their side of it. They have done that, and we've done that, and I think the last reports have come out favorably. We still have a ways to go, but I think we're on the right trajectory for the fire department pension. But we would like to implement that beginning October 1. Make progress on the comprehensive plan, utilize savings from general fund operations while still maintaining a large fund balance. Just quickly, I would like to review where we started this last year. The 2016-17, this is the budget that you approved last year. And you'll see that we had a balanced budget. We also had a prior year encumbrance that rolled forward. We amended our budget during the year of $149,500 to address the mold situation at Fire Station 5. So at the end of September, we're projecting a fund balance of $12,247,206, which is nearly 19% fund balance. We really think this is a conservative number, and I think our year-end estimate that we'll put up beside it will show you that. We're projecting an increase of 19.98%, nearly 20%. We think our budget is going to come in a little bit higher on the revenue side, and we're going to come in, we feel like, at a level of about $711,000 under budget by the time we get to September. So nearly a 20% fund balance. And the story tonight that we talked about earlier is the number down in the bottom hand. We have a 10% council policy minimum on our fund balance. And by the end of September, conservatively, we believe we'll have $6,325,000 above the 10% number that's unencumbered surplus fund balance, some savings that we've realized over the last couple of years. So I'm really proud of that. I think actually we're going to come in better than that, but we're going to be at least $700,000 under budget on our expenditures. Quickly, this shows you our sales tax number, and it doesn't take long to look at this slide to see what's happened. You'll notice our 2017 projection at the end of this year, $19,764,524. And if you'll look back on 2009, our revenue collection was $19,437,931. So we've roughly collected this year the same level as we did in 2009, which I think just shows that we've made some progress, but we still haven't recovered to really where we need to be. But we're optimistic in the future. A lot of things going on in Longview, a lot of great ideas through the development and comprehensive plan and I-20 that this number is really going to, I think, start turning up. But we're projecting a little bit more of an increase for 2018. Same thing on property values. This is our property tax revenue over time, and the red line at the top is just a trend line that shows that we are on a good trend. It's going up, but it's very slow and very deliberate. So average growth, annual growth since 2009 is 0.78%, just under 1%. But again, it's tracking on the right direction, and I think my takeaway on this slide is the importance of the Longview Economic Development Corporation. And if they can help bring in jobs and industry and growth to Longview, that curve's going to go up, and that's really what we want to see. This is our property tax rate, and I'm happy to announce that we've not raised the tax rate. This is the 4th straight year for that. The prior increases are only due to the 2011 tax bond issue that the voters approved. That began in 11 and 12. Our revenue summary, we are spending some one-time revenues in the general fund. These are savings. The first number, $1,546,708, is general fund savings from various CIP projects, namely the George Ritchie Road. That was completed, and these are savings that the council had appropriated into that CIP fund, so we would like to utilize that. Also, savings from our general obligation debt service fund. Every year, part of it, Sean, if you could go back to that previous slide. This shows it better. In the bottom line, we have two parts of the tax rate. The first one is our debt, our INS rate, and the next is the M&O rate. Every year, part of the 50.99% goes into these two categories, one to pay our bonds, our debt, and the other for general operations. So over the last 2 or 3 years, with the good financial management that Ms. Cohen provides, we've had a surplus in that INS fund, and we'd like to transfer that and use some of that into the general fund. We have plenty of reserve left in there in that debt service fund. Then also our general liability and workers' comp savings, those are funds as well that we've been able to have a surplus and a savings in, and we'd like to use $548,476 of that. Won't take much time here. These are our pie charts that show the areas where our revenue comes from in the general fund. Quickly, budget highlights. We're spending $750,000 back into our vehicle replacement fund. We don't want to get behind on those if we can help it. Our health fund contribution, we proposing $145,000 into the fund balance of the health fund. We can talk a little bit at the end about our health fund and some changes that we'll be looking for. The public safety space study that we talked about early, we'd like to allocate $100,000 for that study, and that may incorporate for the police department and look at some of the fire issues as well. And of course, we'll be bringing those back to you once we bring a contract for that for your consideration if you approve it. Let us go forward. Parks improvements, $123,000. The Arboretum operation study, Mr. Karen will probably talk to you a little bit more about that in his 2 items coming up after the budget presentation. This is money that we put in the budget for you to consider an operation study. When the Arboretum gets built, that will be a city park. And I think we need to understand and have an idea of who's going to be responsible for what, and regarding maintenance and operations. The Arboretum group, what are they going to do? What's the city going to be responsible for? And make sure we have a good understanding going forward on how it's going to be operated and utilized. And this money, the $50,000, to clear up any confusion, we would not go forward until the Arboretum has the money raised and they're beginning construction. And that way, because this study is for future operations and how we would do that going forward. Also, we have put in this budget 2 new positions at Development Services. I believe a fire plans examiner and a plans examiner to help us with the load in our Development Services Department. We're currently behind on some of the projects due to just the volume and the requirements that we have. So, and then just for your illustration, the half year for the fire pay plan will cost us $365,728, and for the other employees, the 3% would be $586,391. Our expenditures. And so for the 2017-2018 general fund budget, we're expecting to have that beginning balance to spend $65,022,864. I mean, is for revenues, and the expenditures $65,601,740. So that means that we're asking for you to allow us to spend general fund balance to out of savings to close that to the tune of $578,876. And I think I can stand here and recommend to you that with an 18.87% fund balance at the end of next year, that's nearly $6 million at the end of 2018 that'll be above the 10% requirement. And I think it would be very prudent to spend that and to use nearly $600,000 in that way. And I think we shouldn't have any problems at all. And it's a very, I think, robust ending fund balance. So our total budget with water and sewer fund, enterprise funds, and all the others totals $161,201,638. I might just say before I go into the meeting, on the general fund budget, we are increasing our expenditures. Obviously, we're putting some new things in there, but the increase in the expenditure for the general fund is 1.4% from last year's budget. So I think, although it is a modest increase from last year's general fund, I think with what we're trying to put in there and things we're trying to accomplish, it's a reasonable request. I'd be happy to take any questions. I do, before we take questions, this is the calendar that you have for the rest of the year or upcoming for the budget. These meetings, most of them are set by statute because of the way we have the process we have to go through to amend our budget. Finally, we'll adopt the budget on Thursday, August the 31st. The tax rate will be adopted September the 14th. CIP presentation the 28th, and adopt the LEADCO budget the 28th as well.